one other thing about witness statements, you need to read the statement that they write, because sometimes people make mistakes, right? That's okay. Especially if they handwrite it and they just send you a picture of it, it's okay if there's a mistake. It's not okay to submit a letter with a mistake to the judge. So read it and make sure it's correct and that there's nothing different about what you're saying and what they're saying. There will be enough time for them to write another letter, a corrected letter, right? And then the one other thing, the people who do this for you should write everything they know, not just one thing. If they know about 3 things or 7 things, they need to write about all of them, because the judge will say, well, why did she only talk about this one thing, but now you're telling me she also knew about this other thing? So they have to include all the information they know.
So do ka in kedi wara window be winda no ma on témoignage do an de témoignage don wara si be windi woko ya rewre tet dem fop janga anda ko windi tonko na goddo windane tun acte témoignage etta jonna naba wo fion non ko ya andu ara ko be windi tonkon hino yaadi e ko yebuma kon bone yebuno ma on ko be woni seeditaade kon on tini wo si tawi be falji na e fusno ibe wawi yiltitaade be mo'intina kayen geri be winditobe additana on tini kono nayo min tum ba windani lanne wotere do tigi on wanono yogabe mo wadi tano dum do mi yakitoro dum do mi naba hara yaada e ko woluda ko wo hara dum non hana ka wadede wo kayen geri stayara faljane no ton ya andu wonde mara ko an woni responsable fi dum non parce que yaray si goddo go windi don goddum hara yaada e ko yebuma ko andi yaray ko an woni hoore mum on wo kayen kedi stayara goddo windi si tawi siko conjoint ma siko bengu ma siko modi ma na yo windu hunde wotere tun hare ko yo windu kala boneji ko andi e bi makon kala tana ko andi e bi makon ko yaadi e bangi ko da wolle ko montini wo sina dum sa ye anabo dum don non juge inni ayeti ke juge dum no dum do e bi lan hara non seditando ma ngo hunde wotere woli fi mum ay ni le are ontino andi fi mum kono ko kango ko hunde wotere woli fi mum ara sko bengu ma ara bengu ma ko ne wotere andi a piyama ma so kama non ayete juge wonde ma bengu hari no tawa ton no wadi ni wattitiri ni be landato ma ko hondum wadi dum don woniri non so hara simo andi si goddo no windande ma ko yo windu piiji yebude ma din fo tanaji yebude ma fin o speaker o sedito moƴƴa si detta dum non naba.
Just a couple of other, this is sort of general proof. If you've ever been arrested in the United States, like a criminal arrest, you have to provide what's called a certificate of disposition. If you've been arrested, you should probably talk to an immigration lawyer to figure out if the arrest will impact your asylum case or not. And then everyone should also be including information about your country. And I wrote some sources, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Remember, we talked about how you have to educate the judge about what's happening in your country. These are places that can help you do that. They will explain in long articles what is going on, what's happening, why are people fleeing, and then BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN will explain in shorter articles, and you can use it to explain, like, look, people just like me are really at risk, and this is really happening. So you definitely want to print out a few of these articles.
On the world, par example, ko adi consider we got nangama America ga andi si goddo nangama ga goddo yebima haray no wodi ko benata certificat de disposition stay nangama ga jonno stay dum yebima hara mari nyama kalajo ko ya landomo fi si tawi dum don no hani hebede on tini sina dum haray boylo to seda so si dum non yebi on tigi haray no hani hebugol jonno stay ko leydi ko iwro da ton kayen kedi hara so are you also suggesting if they were arrested in their home country?
That's a good question, because if it's a politically motivated arrest, you often can't get anything, and you just have to explain what happened.
Okay. So hari milandi mo stay kan ke dum non yaade stay nanga ma golel ma kono no dum non metti fi wo sabande ma honnu o andi stay go bangi politique on hollugol seeɗa wondema nanngama ɓe jonnama kayit ɗum noon no metti fi heɓugol toon ne so kono ɗum ɗo ko fi Amérique on ɗon wonde yewtude so tawi ara a nanngama ɗo ara eɗa hani heɓugol ɗum ɗon so tawi ko nanngande façon ji goo boni goo waɗɗa on tini wo joni noon aray ko ekkitiɗon kayen kadi seedeji ɗi hanuɗa wattorgol kon wo aɗi ko dowdojo on ko fi nanngande ne sa nanngama Amérique ɗo haray ko ekkitiɗon kayen kadi ko preuve ji siɗon andi to yettike en ko fuɗɗorde nanen ko iɗa jannude juge jo on wonɗo jentitade ma wonɓe janngude ko tarika ma on iɗa jannude ɓe fi bone heɓude ma e fi leydi ko heɓuma kon so indi won woodi source uji go kanke ɗi wata utilise gol wona mo waɗanen ɗo e nokkeli exemple ji tun human right watch ɓen ɗon no tawa yimɓe woloɓe tawata si boni waɗi e leydi saabu leñol mango politique ɓe woolay si waɗum ɗon fof so si ɗum ɗon ɗawa heɓugol haray no wallitoma kayen kadi ma siko Amnesty International ma siko Freedom House ma siko BBC Al Jazeera CNN ɗi organisation ji ɗo fof haray on andi ɓe wawa fillitagol hay siko ko raɓɓiri bone ma tana wonɗo wadde e leydi nin e on saahi ɗon ko tawatara no yaadi e tarika ma on so haray ɗa wawi ɓeydito ɗum ɗon fof sa wawi heɓugol.
You're working on getting all your proof. I want you to know how much time you'll have to before you need to actually submit it. If you have a case in court, the judges usually require that you submit your evidence 15 to 30 days in advance of your trial. They will tell you, they will say, you need to submit your evidence on, and they will give you a date. But it's usually a month or 2 weeks before your trial date, which many of you know will be a few years from now. If you have a case with USCIS, an affirmative application, you are very likely on a very, very long waiting list to get an interview. And you will submit your evidence a week before the interview or even on the same day. I've done that a million times, so that's fine.
Oni wo jon non ɗen gollude moɓiɗiren seedeji men ɗin ne oni wo joni ko honnituma noon sa hombo hanuɗen naɓugol seedeji men ɗin woɗo no wonde nafa en faamu ɗum ɗo on tini ko adi kon taw ɗen tañini ko duuɓi si wawen yiidugol e juge jo fi ñawore men tigi tigire nen tiiɗe tasande nen ne oni wo joni noon ko ɓuuri kon ko ittanima balɗe 15 ha balɗe 50 ɓe innatama hiɗa mari ɗo yo ñawore ma nen tigi tigiri howtu ara hiɗa mari entre 15 à 30 jours juge ɓe go hettoma woɓɓe winnama 15 jours woɓɓe winnama 30 jours ara hiɗa mari ɗum ɗon ɗo ya hara no lutti ɗum ɗon si wawa siɗa faala naɓa on say noon seedeji maɗi on tini joni ɗum ko tawi wiyawoɓe ko tribunal ɓe ɓen on tini wono waɓɓe défensif ɓe men joni noon so tawara ko waɗirɗo fattare wono moɗi Souleymane en ɗo waɗirɓe wono affirmative on o ɓen ɗon yoɓe mari ko habbotogo juuti ɗo yoɓe haɓane rendez-vous fi yoɓe yawɓe waɗa interview ji maɓɓe ɗin woɗon ɓen ɗon kayen kadi ɓe wawi waɗirde wono siko yontere ɗo e ñande interview maɓɓe ma ko nanditata ɗum ɗon woma hay ñande yata fi interview ma on kayen kadi so tawi ko affirmative on hiɗa wawi naɓorde seedeji ɗin nde ñande hollaɓe.